medicine?
Yeah, I put in the orange juice every morning before I eat.
Does it taste bad?
It tastes really bad.
What is that?
This is a pump, and we used to use this to give James his medicine every night. It takes about 8 or 9 hours, but it was kind of painful, right? It made your skin really sore.
What does the medicine do?
This substance grabs onto iron in the body. Otherwise, if you have excess iron, a lot of major organs just keep the iron in your body, and then those organs have to work extra hard. Anything else I forgot that you want to tell Haley? You just want to go outside and play? Okay.
When did you find out that James had thalassemia?
He had his routine 1-year blood test, and sort of the standard, see what's happening, screen for lead. And he went in on a Saturday to get blood drawn, and then on Sunday morning we got a call saying, your son's hemoglobin count is really low. You need to come in for a blood test right away.
My mom told me that you had to get blood pumped into you. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
Why do you have to get blood pumped into you?
Because my red blood cells are smaller than other people's.
He looked fine, but we went into the hospital, spent 6 hours in the emergency room to get a blood test, and they came back saying he appears to have some form of anemia.
How did you get the blood disease?
Well, my mom and dad both had the trait, so when they had me, I got it somehow.
So you didn't know you were a trait carrier?
No, I had no idea. And even though my blood test had some indicators, no one ever diagnosed that I had thalassemia minor, that I was a trait carrier. And no one ever talked to me about it. A friend of a friend mentioned that there was a thalassemia clinic in New York City. And other than that, it might have taken me a little bit longer to stumble across having treatment from a doctor who knows the illness and knows what to do next. It's not normal and it's not fine, and it's really hard. But I just, a lot of times you just try to kind of suck it up and say, let's move forward and find the best way, the best direction to head.
What do your friends think about it?
Sometimes my friends feel bad for me if I get hurt because they think something's gonna happen.
He does have some restrictions, like he can't play contact sports because his spleen is enlarged, and he has to do his medicine every morning, and he also has to go for blood.
When James has to have a blood transfusion, how does your day work?
Well, we head into the city and they draw his blood, and then it takes a couple of hours for blood to come up. I usually try to drag him out of there and get out and get some sunshine, because it's a long day to be in a transfusion clinic. And when his blood comes up, he takes a couple of what they call pre-meds, because if someone has a reaction to the blood, they spike a fever. It takes about an hour to an hour and a half for each unit of blood to go in. So it's through an IV, they hang a bag of blood, and we do a cross-check of donor number, patient ID, blood type, all of that. But they check his temperature, every half an hour, check his blood pressure, make sure everything's staying normal. But, he ends up getting charged up physically. He gets more color in his cheeks and his ears, and he usually feels a lot more energetic.
How do you get, where do you get the blood from?
I get it from the hospital.
Does it hurt?
Sometimes it feels painful because sometimes the needle's hurting my arm. Other times it doesn't feel like anything.
When James was on the pump, how did that affect your everyday routine?
To coordinate, the whole evening routine around the pump. Make sure he had his bath or his shower in time, to put this cream on to numb his skin. And then, he just had to get emotionally prepared to be stabbed. And if we started too late in the morning, where you're kind of rushing around to take it off, and actually when he went on the oral chelator, I realized that bedtime was so much less stressful.
What are people going to do if they don't have insurance?
It's challenging. It definitely impacts quality of life and lifestyle. So, hopefully, again, before James gets to that stage, he'll be cured, and we won't have to worry about what happens when he graduates from college and goes off, my insurance, what next? Hopefully James will enter puberty on his own without any hormonal intervention. It's a pretty good sign that he's on target to do that, because his iron levels are in check, and it gives him a better shot at just proceeding along with puberty and normal development.
Once he becomes a young adult and finds his match and gets married, What about having children? Is he able to have children?
So if James marries someone who also has the trait, there's a 50-50 chance that the child would end up with thalassemia or just the trait. So, you know, hopefully he meets somebody who's trait-free, and, you know, having children, the child would have a 50% chance of not even being a carrier.
Amy, you've been through so much, and so has James. My heart goes out to you. What happens next?
Well, hopefully for James, he lives to be 110. I mean, we are doing, you know, all the things that we know to do, and hopefully there will be a cure, and it will probably come in the form of gene therapy.
Well, I know that James is going to live to be 110. I just see incredible energy in that kid, and he's got a lot of determination. You all are an inspiration.